Hey, you clicked on my video. Appreciate it. Now be sure to like the video and subscribe to the page. Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Outta My League. I'm Nick Diaz. If you're in business, never underestimate the power of a good story. Doesn't matter if you're a law firm, a restaurant, car dealership, sports team. Stories are the best marketing tool that you could ever have. I mean, how many restaurants have you gone into and seen somewhere on the wall or on their menu, our story, giving you the background of the place, of the owners, of the family? How many car dealerships have you been to and there are pictures on the wall when they first opened? Look how far we've come. This is one of the many reasons why the NFL has the most popularity in our country. They are pro-business, pro-working with television networks to get the best story you can. Joe Burrow, the greatest living player in LSU history, and New Orleans native, and maybe the best wide receiver in LSU history, Jamar Chase, both play for the Cincinnati Bengals, are now, in fact, going to play the Saints in New Orleans in 2022. And the last time both of those players were in the state of Louisiana playing football, they were winning the national title in the Superdome. And on top of that, they both will be going up against Tyrann Mathieu on every single play. This right here is the greatest example the NFL can show to other professional leagues. This is the benefit of having college as your minor league system. There's a story within a story within a story. And if you can believe it, there was some talk about them playing this game in London at 8:30 in the morning, our time. Then common sense took over. Maybe we should take advantage of this unbelievable atmosphere and unbelievable story that will be in New Orleans that night, show it on TV, and ask people around the state of Louisiana and the diehard LSU fans that are also lifelong Saints fans up in the stands wearing LSU gear, Saints gear, hell, maybe even Bengals gear. Get video and pictures of them scoring in the Superdome at LSU 2 years ago. Go around town before the game asking fans, what are your emotions like tonight? Any conflicts? All of that is great. Now, for me personally, there will be no conflictions. I'm rooting for the Saints to win. Yes, being raised 15 minutes from LSU's campus and being an actual alum of the university has made LSU my favorite team and the Saints number 2. But just like LSU fans that were born and raised in the city of New Orleans, they're Saints fans first and LSU second. And I know there are some Louisianians who didn't grow up NFL fans or Saints fans at all who have recently adopted the Bengals as their NFL team. Whatever. All is fine. It's a free country we live in. But if you're asking me, I ain't never been to the city of Cincinnati. I ain't never been to the state of Ohio. I don't have any relatives from there. I don't have any relatives that live there. I don't care to go. They ain't no kin of mine, okay? Come fall, I'm rooting for the damn team with the fleur-de-lis on their helmets. That's what I'm doing. Now, I hope Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt or injured every time he gets sacked by the Saints. Same thing with all the LSU players that are not on the Saints. But I'm rooting for the Saints. Now, in an ideal world, sure, I would love Joe Burrow throws 4 touchdown passes. All of them are to Jamar Chase. But the Saints still win the game. And if Joe throws an interception, I hope it's to the Honey Badger. All right? That's if we lived in a perfect world. And if you feel any differently, no. Let me know in the comments section if you do. But I have an allegiance, all right? I'm from South Louisiana. I'm rooting for the South Louisiana team. Now, the bigger question to break down is who's actually going to win the game. Now, I know we're in May. This game won't be played until, September, October, November. But both teams have got their big names in free agency now, and they have finished the draft. So, it's safe to say we know what the team's strengths and weaknesses are going to be by this point. So let's break it down. The quarterbacks. I love Jameis Winston. I've been a believer of Jameis Winston since he signed with the Saints day 1 2 years ago. But Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston right now. He just is, all right? Wide receivers. I'm going to lean Cincinnati Bengals because here's the thing. Michael Thomas, while at the top of his game, he's the best receiver in the game, but he's coming off of 2 injury-riddled seasons and didn't play at all last year. And the Saints' second-best wide receiver is a rookie in Chris Olave, who will be good, who I believe will pop, but I'm leaning towards the Bengals because of what they've done recently. Having said all of that, the defensive backs defending those wide receivers, that's not even close. The Saints have the best secondary in the NFL with the addition of Tyrann Mathieu. So maybe that cancels it all out. Now, the Bengals and the Saints, they both have great defensive lines, maybe good defensive lines, but here's the determining factor. Offensive line. I know the Bengals have gotten better at offensive line in free agency. Thank God for that. But I still don't think they can stop the pass rush like the Saints. And the Saints have a better offensive line than the Bengals by a wide margin. So, once again, even though defensive line is relatively even for the most part with a slight edge to the Saints, it's all about who you're facing on the opposite end. Same thing with receivers and defensive backs. Advantage, Saints. You see where I'm going with this. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about the head coach. I know Dennis Allen is better than what his record was with the Raiders 8-10 years ago. Okay? I'd say 90% of all of that wasn't his fault. It was probably the worst time to be a head coach for the Raiders because the organization was at their highest point of dysfunction. Having said all of that, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Bengals head coach Zach Taylor in this advantage. Reason why? I don't know. Call me crazy, but I actually judge people on what they've accomplished so far, not what I hope or what I think. So, as a result of all of this, we've reached an impasse on both teams. One has advantages and disadvantages, the other, same thing, just for different reasons. So I have 2 rules. The modern football rule says go with the team with the proven coach and the better quarterback. The old school football rule says go with the team that is better on the line of scrimmage. But for the past 2 Super Bowls, the team with the better line of scrimmage has won, even one of them even very convincingly. And even in today's college football, 83% of the time, the team that rushes for more yards wins the game. That is a real statistic. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Football has changed so much, yet at the same time changed so very little. I believe the Bengals are going to be a contender for years to come with Burrow and what they've got going over there. But at the same time, I think the Bengals got hot at the right time last year in the playoffs. I don't necessarily think they were the best team in the NFC. Plus, they're a team that still has holes on their roster, and they generally don't draft all that well, although they've been doing better lately. I'll go with the Saints for now. Unless any unforeseen injury comes up before then, I think the Saints have an advantage in this game. But really, I'm just truly glad the NFL had the common sense to put this game in New Orleans. It's a great thing for the state. It's a great thing for the city to have this game. It wouldn't surprise me, quite honestly, if this is a Monday night game or a Sunday night game. Because this isn't just a big deal locally. This is going to be a big deal and a big game all across the nation. Even for small market teams that don't get big ratings necessarily, like the Saints and the Bengals, it's going to be box office for the sports world. You know why? Because everyone loves a good story. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the description link below.